Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Barrel's Garage. It's another Saturday, and I'm back home, finally home from California. So we're back on track again. Oh, who we got in here? Well, we ain't got nobody in here so far. So, y'all beating the heat? Oh, looks like Twisted Mopar. I can see him come up on my other screen over here. How's it going, man? It's good to see you busted over your 500 mark. Congratulations, man. I knew you could do it. JB's Little Shop. Good to see you, man. I've got some stuff coming in the mail. It should hit the mailbox Monday morning. Come out of my mailbox Monday morning. So I got some stuff headed your way, guys. Good to see you. Yeah, and who else we got here? Oh, now they're piling in here. Now I can see them on this screen over here. How was the vacation? Whew. Yeah, hot and sticky and warm. Boy, California traffic is no joke. Absolutely no joke, especially for somebody that's used to only 2 lanes. Oh, it's good to be home. California, it's an all right place to visit. At the track, we'll have to rewatch. No problem, JV. Have fun out there. See if you can get old Lars to buy you a hot dog. Rescued and restored garage. Good to see you, man. Pierre Pontiac, good to see you. Robbie, thanks, man. Yeah, it's good to be back home, even though the temperature followed us. Actually, in San Diego, though, that's where I was, the temperatures aren't that bad. It gets up over 100 degrees, but it only lasts for about 3 hours, and then it nosedives off. And it's actually cold at night, that desert living, and especially with the air coming off of the ocean there. So, actually, weather-wise, San Diego's pretty nice. So I come back up here to Idaho in the High Plains Desert. Yeah, it is hot, real hot. Like Robin Williams said in Good Morning Vietnam, so hot I could cook things in it. Good to see you, One Eye. Don. I love that new logo of yours. That just super fits, man. Mohawk 62 in the house. Good to see you, man. So, like any other week, I got the link hot posted up there and pinned up to the top. If you want to join on in, climb on in. We'll talk about whatever we're going to talk about. That makes it easy that way. You guys get to bring up the topic, so I don't have to put much thought into it. Otherwise, you just see me babbling over here. I did get some more work done on the 460, though. I got it all cut and primed and ready to go. I had a little short job come in. I had to work on a little 64 Valiant little wagon. I had to weld the tailgate back up. And cousin Mike right here, he helped me a whole bunch on it. Thanks a million, man. Oddly enough, as light as a Mopar is, the tailgate on that little bitty wagon, I'll bet you weighs half as much as a car. Whew, man, them things are heavy. What had happened is the passenger side hinge rusted out on the bottom, and it was kind of hung up a little bit. And they reefed on it and broke it out of the bottom. So I had to kind of get in there and weld it up as good as the guy was willing to pay for. But he's happy. It all works again, so made a few bucks, enough to buy maybe a quart of oil. Hey, new guys. Guitar. What's going on, man? For some odd reason, I was thinking of you today coming home from town. I had to run to town to get a few groceries. Coming home, the Cult come on the radio. Firewoman. I said, I was driving along and thinking, I'll bet you he's pretty good with that song. Good to see you, man. That's exactly what I was doing when I was thinking about you. And like I said on a bunch of my other stuff, if any of you are interested in some free music to put to your videos and stuff like that, look this guy up right here. He's willing to let you use his all original music in your videos. All you got to do is just give him credit for it. Give him a little shout out, in your video. Say, hey, this song was by New Guy's Guitar. Go check him out. Pay it forward a little bit. And it sure beats copyright strikes and, especially when some of them artists in the library that say that their stuff is free decide I want to get paid for it later on. You got a whole bunch of videos with you got to go in and re-edit. That sucks. Okay, let me get caught back up here. I get to babbling and I lose track on the chat here. Looks like we got a Mr. Stephen Holtz. Just drive it. Boy, he has been putting the miles on. Stay tuned for some really good stuff coming from Stephen, too. He's kind of giving me a couple of little sneak peeks, and I ain't going to give nothing away, but he's got some really cool stuff coming out real soon. Good to see you, Stephen. And I got a stinking feeling way down inside of my bones that in a few weeks, he's going to be doing some collaboration work with a whole bunch of channels. Hey, there he is. Oh, how the heck are you, man? Got yard work to do, huh? Yeah, I do too. I've been putting it off too long now. Yeah, I got to go out and do some swathing now. My yard ain't a yard anymore. I need a swather. Hey, Justin. Good to see you, man. This time next week, we'll be in Colorado, headed to Idaho. Well, the cat ain't out of the bag. He scores about halfway. Maybe one eye pop out. But while I was down there in California, as you've seen in my little community post, I got a chance to meet Ari Davarina. Ari don't surf. I'll tell you what, one heck of a great guy. He's 10 times better in person than he is on the internet here on YouTube, and he's really good on YouTube as well. And we sat there. I don't know the town hardly at all, so we was going through and we was looking for a good taco joint to go meet at, and we found this one that was real kind of close, and well, it was easy for us to figure out how to get there. And we told him, hey, just meet up this place. We showed up over there, and I have never heard of this in my life, but at this taco joint they had a DJ on the sidewalk. And they seated us. The only seat that was available was right next to the speaker. Oh, Lord. That's the craziest thing I ever seen. San Diego, they kind of go all out for Taco Tuesday. The tacos weren't bad. A little on the spendy side, but they weren't bad. But boy, that DJ, it made it hard to talk. But later on, when we shut her down and everything, we went out to the parking lot, and I gave him that T5 transmission, I've been trying to get him that transmission for about a year now. Probably a little over a year. I finally got it to him for his truck, and his truck let loose. It just started knocking. Oh man, talk about the tough luck. Finally get him the transmission that he needed for that 235 that would, make it happy on the LA freeways and the kind of driving the poor Artie's got to do down there. Finally get it to him and the truck lets loose. But he is upgrading the truck. He's putting 350 in it, it looks like. He's calling it 8-piece box. It's good stuff. Go check out Ari Dabarina. Anyway, super cool to meet you, Ari. If you're out there, in there somewhere. Tacos are important. Dadgum rights. Yeah, as soon as I got home, I had that little quick job to do on that little Valiant, 64 Valiant. And, well, showed him around at what else it needs done to it. She's a spitting oil out of every orifice. I don't know if it's the makeshift PVC valve that the guys put into it. Somebody has put it. The guy just bought it. And the guy that he bought it from just bought it. So this car like switched hands. Boom, boom, boom. But showed him everything that was wrong with it. I kind of lined him up on I've got another slant 6 for an early A body. I've got another transmission for an A body, early A. Kind of showed him them, and well, he wanted to buy little bits and pieces, but I told him no, it's all or nothing. Showed him a price on it, but he's got to think about it. But what was the heat index today here? I'm not sure what it was, but right now they're saying it's 96. But that's out at the airport where it's a little cooler. I think it's about 102 right now. Straight temperature. So heat index is a little hotter than that. And inside of the shop, it's probably about 123 in the shop. This time of year, it's kind of funny. In the wintertime, I got to take all my aerosols, all my PB Blaster, WD-40, spray paint, box it up and bring it in the house so it don't freeze. This time of year, I got to go out there and I got to load up all my tubes of like RTV and weather strip adhesive and stuff like that. I got to bring it all in the house so it doesn't get too hot and explode. The fun of living in Idaho. That's what I told him. I told him he ain't going to be there too long. Yeah, he was wanting me to buy it, but nah, I'm done. I've already got one Mopar, and that's good enough for me. I gotta focus on this 58. And quite honestly, the reason I got that Mopar, that little 65 Dart, is because Mill Creek, the recyclers, were on their way to pick that car up. If I wouldn't have picked it up that minute, it would have went through the crusher. Honestly, that's the whole reason I got that Dart. I couldn't let it go to the crusher. So we ran home and grabbed cousin Mike's what'd you call that? Aunt Jemima, big old highboy Ford, and threw the car trailer on it, and we were there. Had that thing snatched up and title signed, and off we went. It's hot outside. What is temperature like over there, Justin? Yeah, well, cousin Mike, he had two guys trying to pawn stuff up on him. I got a lead on a. Oh, it's a heck of an engine. It's actually a small block Chevy, but yeah, she's about 14-to-1 compression. Runs on, and if you buy it, it comes with 5 gallons of racing fuel. It comes with a power glide with a trans brake in it, line lock. Boy, a whole mess of stuff, and a nitrous plate. But he tried to pawn it off cousin Mike. Cousin Mike wouldn't have nothing to do with that. A good friend of mine, he just moved up here from Alabama. And you remember me telling you about these Idaho winters and how they kind of, all the out of staters that come up here, they only last about 1 or 2 winters. Well, sure enough, this good friend of mine from Alabama, he's done. He says he can't take no more of this brutal heat in the winter and the 40 below in the winter. He's done. He's pulling stakes and getting out of here. And he's got that engine up for sale. And he already sold the car that he was going to put it in. He was going to put it in a 68 Impala. But he done give up, sold that car, and he sold that Valiant. He just bought it for his wife, too. And they just had enough. And so he turned around and flipped that little Valiant. He got pretty good money for it. And then I ended up working on it right after he had bought it. My AC works almost to the point of needing a blanket. I envy people that can use AC. I have tinnitus. So if I'm around a fan, it gets my head to ringing. My ears start ringing really, really loud. And then pretty soon I can't hear anything but the ringing. So I can't use an AC. I just learned to sit and sweat. Need some snow, huh? We still have snow in the peaks, but you got to climb pretty high to get it. The Tetons and Bora, they're all above. They're way above tree line, but they're up into snow line too, where it stays snow all year long. In fact, those two are on the climbing challenge that you have to complete in order to uh, climb Everest. I guess the Razorback on Mount Bora here, that's the highest peak in Idaho, is very similar to the Razor's Edge on Everest, right at the very end. So they kind of use it as a training mountain for everybody. And then the Tetons as well. Hey, Stephen, what's going on, man? And where Stephen's talking about going all the way through on this journey, well, the road doesn't open until August because of snow. uh, but it's way up there. It's way up there north of me. It's in Montana. Hey, Hovey, what's going on? From the sounds of it, we're setting plans for the In and Out Burgers 75th anniversary. They're going to do that at Panoma. Raceway. They're having a big drag race. Hubby's going to be there, and more likely, I'm going to be there with you. Funny thing here in this part of Idaho, we actually like the snow. The snow is a good thing because that actually means it got warm enough to snow. If it ain't snowing, that's when it gets down brutal, like 40, at least 40 below, with the wind chill especially. Good to see you, man. I think I'm caught up here. Got to be pretty good weather over by you, huh? There, Twisted. Where's ASO? Yeah, he was floating around in here earlier. I'm sure he's listening in the background there somewhere. Oh, what are you gonna do? You gonna do some typing? Oh, you got too many fingers to be typing. You've got more typos than I do. Eddie, my inspector. Not too much, huh? I'll be in at the In-N-Out 75th. I don't know what I can do to help you, but I can sure cheer you on as you're going down. Eight states. Good Lord, the way you're checking them off there, Stephen, you're going to start in more countries. Oh, no, you're starting in countries too. You got it made, man. Hey, Big Buck 402, what's going on, man? Warm snow. Yeah. People don't believe me until they actually come here. When you step outside and you breathe and you see that breath come out and just fall to the ground. Yeah. You break over here, you get across the Mississippi, the states start getting pretty good size. New England, you can cross that many states in about an hour. Hey, would you look at here?
Hello.
Hey, Twisted, what's going on, man?
How are we doing?
Congratulations again on hitting your 5.
Thank you very much. I'm shocked, surprised, and blessed. So yeah, all of that. Yeah, surprise. That was a pleasant surprise. But I thought I'd just jump in for a minute. My Wi-Fi won't let me stay on very long.
No problem.
But you got a cat there, and
oh yeah,
you know that's a barn cat running around here. He's always up here with me. When I'm sitting out here, he comes out there and he's got to do his thing around me. So he's quite the cat. 19 years old.
Since we got home, this one won't leave me alone.
Well, you know, they went on vacation too, huh? It's been pretty nice up here the last 3 or 4 days. It's been pretty nice here. So it was real nice today. It didn't get above 82 here. So.
Oh, daggone.
Yeah, it was.
What's your humidity like?
It's real low right now. How, you know, 40, 50%, probably something like that. 45, 50%, somewhere in there. But it's real
Man,
low humidity. We had a cold front come through Friday, and that really changed things. But it really wasn't too bad. Even Wednesday and Thursday, it wasn't that bad. So
so how's the Twisted Mopar running?
well, it's ready to roll. I was going to take it to a car show today, and got down to the car show, and they had no room.
Really?
They was full. They had no place to put anybody. So I went, and I said, well, I walked around a little bit and got in the truck, and I said, well, I'll just come home and do something. So, well, no need of leaving it on the trailer. Nobody could see it. So, but yeah, they was full. They wasn't expecting that many cars this time. So, and it's just a small park deal. So they had them up and down the streets and around about every building they could put them at. So, which is a good thing. It's good to see that in a little small town. So,
Yeah, when I was in California, I missed the one for my little small town.
yeah.
They put on a pretty good one though. They kind of runs up and down the main street that's Highway 94, Yellowstone Highway.
Yeah.
They kind of cruise it, and everybody
Yeah.
parks out in the main.
This was a really nice show. They had people out of Texas up here. I guess they're traveling, doing the traveling thing, car show stuff. So I guess they seen that one was close and decided to unload a few cars there. So there was 3 or 4 of them from Texas over there. Had a real nice 56 Chevy wagon there. Wasn't a Nomad, but it was a nice 56 Chevy wagon. It was real nice.
56.
56 station wagon. Wasn't a Nomad though, but I mean it was a very, very nice put together car. So
Years ago, we had a 57 wagon, 4-door,
mm-hmm.
but it was fuel injected.
Oh, kind
There
of like
was
the
no
Corvette
engine or
stuff.
transmission in it, but it still had the emblems on it.
Yeah, kind of like the old injected Corvette stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Had power steering. It was a fully loaded one.
yeah, that's a fully loaded model for back then. Yeah,
But it
my
was a
mom and them,
4-door wagon.
Mom and them used to love the old Buick specials. 58s, 57 Buick specials. They used to love them.
That old Nailhead is just one of the neatest looking engines that they ever built.
Yeah, yeah, they are cool looking.
How they get them rockers to work, I don't know.
Yeah, that could be said about a couple motors. Really, the Hemi motors trying to get them rocker arms figured out.
Oh Lord.
They're not normal either. I don't think, but compared to just a straight shaft and straight rocker arms, you start seeing these offset stuff going on and angles, and it's like, how do you keep that working under any kind of RPM?
Uh-huh.
They do. So
I heard they're a little finicky.
yeah, I'm sitting outside if you haven't noticed.
It's nice and cool out there.
It's real nice. It's about 73 or 4 right now. So yeah, it's pretty nice out here right now. So,
Yeah,
so how was California?
Utah, let me know. I'll meet you down in Utah.
So how was things out in California?
Whew. Traffic. Traffic. Oh,
traffic?
Lord.
Yeah. How do they get anything done if they're sitting on the highway?
I don't know. And the bad thing is well, it only happens on the weekends. But if you're going from Vegas to LA on a Sunday, I don't know if you've seen my short there. It's a bumper to bumper traffic jam all the way from Vegas to LA on the 15.
That's hard to imagine. I mean,
That's
people
across
just
the full state.
wow. Yeah, that's just like, how does that happen?
And on a Friday, it's
Yeah,
going the other way. It's going
yeah.
from LA to Vegas, and it's
Wow.
stop and go, bumper to bumper traffic jam all the way.
Are them 3-lane or 4-lane that was on? 2-lane?
In there, it's 2 lane at that
2-lane.
section.
Wow. I don't know how they get anything done. I mean, you're sitting in traffic that long, and I'm sure that's like that probably close to 19 hours of the day, I'm sure.
And the thermometer on the dash on the car is at 120, 126.
Oh, outside temperature?
Yeah.
Oh, geez,
And there's
no.
cars pulled over all over the place, pickups and stuff with the hoods open, boiled over.
Wow.
Tesla's in limp mode.
I bet. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, it was crazy.
I can't imagine that, just
Our little edge
I
even
seen that on
overheated.
your videos, and it's like, how in the world can anybody do that stuff? Just sit there like that. It's amazing, really. So we got it pretty easy around here. We can pretty much jump and get anywhere in a couple hours, really.
Yeah,
Here,
that's the way it is here.
I mean, I went down to Lake Carlisle yesterday, just drove around, really, and I picked up a carburetor while I was down there, so I did do that. But I drove around a little bit, so I don't get around Lake Carlisle too much. But it was nice. I picked up a nice carburetor for my car, basically for the new motor. So I got just about all the pieces I need to put that together. I'm just waiting on the machinist to get his part done so I can pick the motor up and I'll put her together. So
What all is he doing to it?
he's just doing the boring and line honing and all that stuff and setting the block up for the rotator. So that's what he's doing.
Just
So,
like a real quick cleanup.
well, yeah, pretty much. I mean, it's an old 400 block, so he has to bore it 35 over, set it up for the, hone the pistons out, hone the cylinders for the pistons, and line hone the crank, line hone the block for the crank and all that stuff, and set it up in there, make sure everything's okay and clears. You got to set the crankshaft in there and rods in there and make sure everything's going to clear the cylinders. So normally on a rotator like that one there, you got to notch the bottom of the cylinders in order to get the rods to clear through.
Uh-huh.
On a 4250 crank and a 400 block, that's normal. I had to do that even with a 440 crank in my 383 that's in the car now. I had to notch the bottom of the cylinders, get the rods to clear out, and they were stock 440 rods. So the bottom end of my motor, it's a 383 with a 440 crank and stock 440 rods. So I'm running basically a stock 440 bottom end and a 383 block. So sometimes stock rods kind of get a beating. People don't think they won't hold up, but they will. If you got the stuff set right, them stock rods with good bolts, they'll hold up as good as any other rod out there.
Most of what kills them is just detonation.
Timing gets kind of critical. I mean, there's a lot of things that goes on, when you start talking about stock rods. I mean, I don't think a guy wants to go out there and run 7,500, 8,000 RPMs with a stock rodded motor. I don't think you want to do that. But, if you're building that kind of motor, you're going to build it within its realm of where it should be operating anyway. So
you don't have to spin it that fast. It comes in at a lower end.
No, most of them big blocks like that, they don't like to spin anyway. So
exactly.
So, I built mine very conservatively, and it's very, the pistons in it are a very old set of Vinolias. They was manufactured in 1972, so that's back when Vinolia was really, starting to get into the racing pistons realm, really. So, and they're heavy. If you look at them and get a set of TRW Forged 2295 pistons, and you set my pistons next to them, you go, my God, they're identical pistons, you know. 'Cause I think they're made after that, really. So it's a heavy rotator, and I knew that when I built it. And it's like I'm going to put it in a RPM range that I know it will work at and run forever. So that's what people kind of miss out sometimes. They'll build a motor and then they'll go, well, I'm going to do something else with it after they got it built, and then comes problems because they're getting outside of the realm of capability of that motor.
Yep.
Especially for longevity, you know.
And like you said, a big block is built for torque.
Yeah. I got
So
tons
you don't want to spin them like a small block.
No. If I wanted to spin like that, I wouldn't have built that kind of motor.
Exactly. Save your money, put it in a small block, and have all kinds of fun.
Oh yeah. Well, and there's nothing says I couldn't build a small block and throw it in my car too, because I can put a small block in my car, and you know, all I have to have is a motor. So my car fit either way. So it's nothing to put a small block in my car. I'd have to build a set of headers for it, but any header would work on my car. So I could put a set of street tubed headers in there and they'd fit just fine. I don't have a K member to worry about. You know, I'm still running stock torque bars. I'm still doing that. All stock front end. Everything on my front end's all stock. You can go buy it at the store tomorrow. But I have no K member, so I can run whatever header I really want to run. So I made it a front steer, so it's a front steer car, rack and pinion up front. But you know, if I need brakes, I just go to the local parts place and I just need a set of brakes for a 73 Duster. You know, I'll get them. I don't have to special order them or nothing.
Did you just swap the steer arm?
I swapped it side to side.
I was looking at that. It didn't change the caster.
It came within good readings on the, you know, when I went to have it lined up, and it will if you do what you're supposed to do, because you're just changing left to right. And you can get the caster. There's a lot of adjustment on a stock front end adjuster if you guys knows what he's doing, how to get it there. But I didn't have any problem at all. It took him and I was there. I took the race car up to the shop up there and simulated the driver's weight in it, and he put it up on the rack, and it was half hour. It was done.
So there is enough on that rear control arm that you can adjust it back out and get your caster back in. Yeah. I was looking at that real close, but I was real scared on it. Must be real close because it sits back there a little bit.
Yeah, and actually a little bit of caster won't hurt you either. So, and the racing application.
Yeah, I was building a street runner though.
Yeah, little street rod's a little bit different, but you can still get it in. It'll still come in there. So it's not as big a deal as a lot of people think it is. And I'd rather run stock stuff because it's everywhere. You can buy it everywhere. You don't have to
go to any O'Reilly's.
You know, you don't have to wait for it to not be there,
or you get it and it's wrong, and then you got to figure out how to get it back.
Yeah. And
sometimes you got to wait for it to get back to them before they credit it back to you, and then you got money floating around, and
money a couple of different ways floating around. So I like running the stock stuff. I mean, everybody says, well, this is lighter. Put on tubular A arms, all that. So that's all fine and good. If a guy wants to do that, that's fine. But I'm just not that way. I went with the stock stuff up front, and it works fine for me. And we've done it to several other cars. It's not just my car set up like this. We've done 5 or 6 others just like it.
Yeah.
They're all fine. So
that's how we build everything. Try as much as possible. Everything's stock.
Yeah, I like the stock stuff.
Or easily replaced.
Like I said, I just took the spindles and swapped sides, and it worked out really good.
What rack did you use?
It came from Southwest Speed, I think I got that from, but it's just a regular 71 Pinto rack and pinion.
Pinto? That's exactly what I was going to use.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, it's a, upgraded, shiny looking thing, but it's patterned after the 71 Pinto.
So it's
70.
got the quick, and it's a manual rack, right?
Yeah, it's a manual rack.
Yeah.
But I got a power on there. I just didn't want power steering. Not on a race car. I got power windows. I do have
Well,
power windows.
it's got a good ratio, so it's almost like having power.
Yeah, it steers fine. I mean, going down track, I mean, I could eat a sandwich in this car. I mean, it's real comfortable. It runs straight as a string. It don't do anything stupid. You know, it's just a fun car to drive. You know, and that's what I wanted. That's what, you know, and I got the creature comforts. I got both seats in there, full carpeting, you know, power windows and all that stuff. And, you know, I mean, it's it's got more stuff in it than it needs for a race car, but it's what I wanted. So
That's the best way to do it, though. So then you can enjoy it all week long,
exactly. I mean,
and then
anybody
take
that's
it to the
building a
track and have
car,
some fun.
yeah, anybody that's building a car or whatever, you know, build it how you want it. You know, don't build it how somebody else wants you to have it, or you know, you build it where you're comfortable. Or if you're the guy going to work on it, make sure that you see what's wrong with some of the other stuff and you take care of that on your car.
Yep.
So it's easy for you to work on. You know, I made my car because, you know, I very seldom get help with my car, so I have to make it where I can work on it myself and not have to have help. So that's how I built my car. Very, very simple.
And it's cool when you're building them because you got to think ahead on all of that stuff. You know, you put that
Yeah.
bracket there, and then later on you go to change a starter, and it's right in the way. Well, you can't
Exactly.
blame Henry Ford or Walter Chrysler. It's you.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and I can have my front end off. Yeah, I do need a hand to take the front end off, you know, but it all comes off in one piece, you know, minus the hood. It all come out there and set right on off of there. It takes about 5 minutes to do that job. So, and I could almost do it myself. And them are steel fenders. That's all steel fender stuff up there. So, the only thing is fiberglass on the car is the hood and the bumpers and deck lid. That's the only thing is fiberglass. I got Lexan windows on the windshield and sides, but the doors are regular glass doors. They're regular roll up duster windows on the sides. So
You went Lexan on the windshield though.
windshield Lexan on there, and the two little side vent windows, and the back glass of Lexan.
How come did you go Lexan with it
What, on the sides?
on the windshield?
Well, I was kind of looking at weight, and I'm going to put a regular windshield back in it. I don't like the Lexan up there. It's in a quarter mile. When I first put the car together, in a quarter mile, it actually caved in on me.
Did it?
Yeah. So it's like, all right. Now I had to put a support behind it. So I got that fixed. It don't come in no more, but I had to put a support off of the mirror to keep that from coming in. So I am going to put a regular windshield back in it. I am going to do that. So.
I was going back and forth on whether to Lexan or.
Well,
I think I'm just going to bite the bullet and buy glass for the front.
If you can put a glass one back in it, put a glass one back in it. Because I'm not a fan of putting Lexan in the front windshield of a car. I understand people looking at weight and da 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 da, but after you have one cave in on you about 130 mile an hour, you won't like a windshield comes in on you 130. I can tell you personally.
Oh yeah.
So it was no fun.
What's your car weigh out at?
With me in it, race ready at the starting line, 2960.
2960?
Yep.
Whew.
Yep. So, I tell you, it's got carpeting all the way through it, from the trunk lid all the way forward. Yeah, it's fully carpeted. Two race seats. Oh yeah, it's got it all. Yeah.
It's surprising how light these cars really are.
You can make them light. You know, I mean, it just depends on what you're looking for out of the car, you know. So, I'm a ladder bar coilover car, so, you know, a lot of people don't have to do that. You could do, you know, the super stock springs. They work excellent. I'd highly recommend it. If you're going to run anything, there's two setups I'd run, and it's either Super Stock Springs or run a ladder bar setup. I'm not a big Caltrac fan. I can tell you that firsthand. I've tried to make them work on a couple cars, and I've not had any success with those. So I'm not a Caltrac guy. For all the money you spend to try to make them work, and we took Super Stock Springs off the car, try to make the Caltracs work a little better. They didn't work any better than the Super Stock Springs. So, everybody said, "Oh yeah, they picked up this, picked up that." Well, obviously there was something else wrong. So, because Super Stock Springs are hard to beat. That's just my personal opinion. I know there's guys that put Caltracs on, and they picked up this 60-foot, and well, there was probably something else that was bad in there. They fixed. But that's just my opinion.
Yeah, the Caltrac's a little. It's easier
Caltracs
than
were a
Ford.
Ford. Well, Caltracs was built for the Ford Superstock guys.
Yeah,
That's what they was designed for. They was very limited of what they could do suspension wise with the coil springs, and they had to choose something that was a little bit better than the put the airbag stuff in. Trying to compensate that way. So, they come up with this, and basically a traction bar device is basically what you're looking at. It just comes off the bottom of the leaf spring, marches it forward, much like a ladder bar does. Or, as far as the old ladder bars, But yeah. And they work great on a lot of cars. Some guys, they love them. That's fine. I've had my experience with them, and after you pull every little bit of hair out, trying to get them to do what they're supposed to do, it's like, man, the Super Stock Springs run just the same. So I just fall there. I'll fall on the sword there.
and it's all about cost to effect too. Just like you said, them Caltracs are spendy.
Oh well, the car we bought a whole system from Calvert Racing, and for a '67 Cornet, and put them on there, and we never could get that car settled down. And we went from stock springs to Super Stock Springs, and I can tell you we did pick up between the stock springs, Super Stock Springs. We picked up probably half a tenth in 60 foot, easy, doing that. And then when we put on the Caltracs, it stayed exactly the same, but we had issues as soon as it initially hit. It tried to bunny hop. It was just doing some really weird stuff, and we never could get them figured out. I mean, it would bunny hop so bad. Everybody said, well, if it wasn't bunny hopping, it would probably go faster. Well, yeah, but I can't get it out of the bunny hop. I mean, it would almost start shuddering, is what it was doing. I mean, it was almost like a tire shudder back there. So,
and that's scary because when it starts doing that, things start breaking.
Yeah. Well, we busted a rear drive shaft yoke. We did that. Yep. Done that. Front yoke, broke that. Oh yeah. Yeah. Never could figure out why it would do it. Never could get it to settle down. Sold the car eventually. They'd done the same thing with the other guy, and he couldn't figure it out either. That car went out east. So I think the guy that bought it out east put Super Stock Springs back on it because they went with the car. So never had the issue with Super Stock Springs. The car hooked good. But always trying to find a little bit of speed somewhere. And spent, I don't know, I think it was about $2,300 we spent on them Caltrac system. Between that and trying to get it installed.
And what was said at Super Stock Springs?
I think we spent $350.
Yep. There you go.
It's like, wow, it don't take long to figure this game. It don't take long to figure the game out. I'm not saying Caltracs is a gimmick. I won't say that because Caltracs work on a lot of cars, a lot of situations. So, it's just my opinion of what I went through. I wouldn't waste my breath, but
And
like
again,
I
it's
said,
all part of that. It's the direction that you're going and the goals that
the
you're
direction
looking
of,
for
yeah,
with the car that you're doing.
yeah, exactly. And everybody has a different experience. So, everybody has to climb that ladder on their own and figure out what works best for them. So,
4-link, 3-link rear ends, leafs. I mean, there's a million ways to skin this cat.
oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Back in the old days, we used to just take leaf springs apart and add leaf springs to either one side or the other, or bigger, truck springs on one side. And, we used to do all kinds of funny games, try to plant the tire, I mean, there was guys out there, back in the old stock days that, they was putting concrete in the tires, be a weighted tire. Once you get that mass rolling.
And track technology and tire technology has come leaps and bounds from way back when.
Oh yeah, yeah. Gone are the days when you went 8th mile blistering the tires.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, them days are long gone. Now you don't have to put a lot of heat in these new tires and new compound they got in these tires. I mean, a wisp of smoke and you best be on out of there, because any more heat than that, they're going to want to spin. And everybody's kind of blaming the track. Well, the track compound's changed, or the track ain't prepping like they used to. And there's a little bit to be said about the traction compound being changed. That's out there a little bit, true. Some tracks prep it a little different than other tracks. That's true. But, a lot happens when we're doing our burnout and stuff like that with these new tires, radial tires, the old bias ply tires. It's a different world when you're doing the burnouts.
GM paved the way with making front steering box independent front suspension systems.
Let me read that. What did he say?
The Mustang II and Pinto independent front suspension with front steering box was a copy of the solution Vahal. I probably mispronounced and butchered that. Had to making sure a car handles
benign.
GM paved the way with making front steering box independent front suspension system point.
That's probably very true.
I've sure used a lot of those GM subframes.
Yeah, a lot of people did. Even a lot of the roundy round guys used a lot of them front GM suspensions. It's going on a long, long time now. So
back in the day, you could find Novas and Camaros even pretty regular, but they're getting a little tough to find now.
Yeah. Well, people starting to hang on to them now, not letting them go to the the salvage yards now. So,
boy, and I found out that Pitman arm is gold. It's made out of gold. I swear it is.
Yeah, it's got to be. Yeah. Well, that's getting to be with a lot of them too. It's and Pitman arms and trying to get that ratio right. I didn't have too much trouble with mine getting mine in. I mean, like I said, I'm still running stock tie rod ends. It's really kind of amazing. I mean, the rack and pinion comes out, and I just had a guy CNC down, and then we threaded it and put a regular tie rod in adjustment on it. Screwed the tie rod in. I'm stock all the way from the rack and pinion out to my ball joint. So, sounds complicated, but really, really fairly easy.
On that rat rod, we did the 51 Chevy with the twin I-beam on it. We put a rack and pinion off of Ford Windstar on it.
Oh,
but
so
we
you
had
could
to
have power.
cut the ends off. Then I wrapped them in a terry cloth towel, soaked the towel up, wrapped it up with that, made a heat sink out of it, and welded another end on it to adapt to the Ford spindles.
Yeah. Yeah.
The 1-ton spindles.
Yeah. Yeah. The only thing I had to do to my, the bottom ball joints on each side is I had to cut them, and then I pulled them away, made them closer to the disc brake. Just pulled them in, actually set them out. You're setting them out really, and that's just to straighten up the length of the throw. That's all that was about, and then welded them up, and but other than that, it was very, very simple front steer mix out there on my car. And I'm running a little bit, my ladder bars. I'm running a lot longer ladder bars than most guys run anyway. So, but I wanted my car to react a little different than most cars. So I went with 36-inch bars. Most guys use a 32, but I put a 36 bar under mine. That just helps settle the car down and where it ain't going gigantic wheels in the air.
The Caltrans supposedly work on the Tri-5s, huh? I've seen a lot of them on the Tri-5s. Especially like what you're doing, hubby, with the gasser type. You're up a lot more.
Yeah, I could see them probably working on a 55 Chevy gasser. If you're running like a straight axle kind of combo, I guess I could see Caltrax being a plus there.
He's actually got what year did it hold record, hubby? He's got an original actual gasser. I think it was 61, 60, 61 when it was racing. It was holding records. Great guy, great channel.
Yeah.
And he's putting it all back and racing it again.
That's cool. I like the old 55 Chevy. My buddy Mark, he's got a 55 Chevy, and I've been doing a little bit of work on that when I can. It's been kind of sparingly, but he had a stroke 5 years ago, so it's pretty tough to get him out there and have him do some stuff. But I've got it all in epoxy primer. I've been doing a little bit of body work to it, repair on some panels on it. So
he's still getting around
okay? Know what his plan. Yeah, he's really not getting around real good right now. He's really struggling right now. It's tough on him. And he's only 58 years old now. He had it 5 years ago. He was 54, 55 years old when he had the stroke. Yeah, he was young when he had the stroke. So
I hope it all works out for him.
I hope so too. I feel sorry for him and stuff. I mean, me and him's been friends since high school. So try to help him when I can.
Hang in there, ASO. It's good seeing you, though.
Hey, ASO. How you?
He's a pretty good old guy.
Yes, he is. Yeah.
There's another guy here that knows a thing or two about Tri-5s. Everything horsepower. Wow, he does some good work.
Yeah. I don't think I've seen his. I don't 55s on Mark's going to be much more than just a street car kind of deal. So it'll probably just keep the stock suspension back there. Probably upgrade the front, obviously, but you know, I'm getting ready to pull the body away from the frame. The body's been off of the frame before, and somebody's painted it, and he wants to paint the frame color as the body. So, and the suspension is black, but he had basic frame to be the body color of the car. So I don't know how that'll work out, but it's what he wants anyway. He's trying to go with a teal and white on this car. So.
The old robin egg blue and white. That's just a classy color on them.
Yeah, something like. Yeah.
Uh-oh, sounds like you're breaking up
I
there.
kind of like, the 55s. I kind of like the. Yeah, my internet's getting ready to go, so I'll get off here and let somebody else jump in. Didn't mean to offend if I did, so I'll talk.
Yeah, it looks like we lost you. That was great having you on, Twisted. You're more than welcome anytime. Yeah, looks like we done lost him there. That was cool. Good to see another of you that's crossed over the 500 mark. Caltracs are the best bet on all Leaf Springs cars. Just wish the price would come down on them a little bit. Sheesh. Earl Williams makes a nice Caltrac copy. If I had one to go off of and just laid it down in the shop, I bet you I could come up with something dang close to it. Jump a Coke can. And put a $20 bill on the dash too, right? I had a friend that said that too. He had a, what was it, a 68, 69 XR Mercury. Oh, it was quick. It was a quick and good looking car. But he used to make the bet on the $100 bill on the dashboard. But you got to strap in. There's a problem. The seat's out so far back. He put the $100 bill, $20 bill, whatever up there. You couldn't reach it. Then when you're strapped in. But his car was quick. Old, what was his name? Alan Wadsworth. Well, Alan Wadsworth. Yeah, that was a good looking car. Had a 351 Cleveland in it. He did all the body work himself in auto shop class. I think he's still got the car. I haven't seen him for a long time. Anyway, I got the link posted up there. If anybody wants to pop on in, pop on in. We'll talk about whatever. That was a pretty good little talk we had with old Twisted Mopar. And I like that basic philosophy too. That's something I've always lived by, is kiss it. You got to kiss every car. Keep it silly simple. I try my hardest to even keep it down to just a handful of bolt size, nuts and bolt sizes too. So if you got to fix it in a hurry, everything is just within hand's reach, and it only takes a handful of tools to do it. And try to get as much as you can that you can get anywhere. I learned that the hard way with my Triumph Bonneville. Back in high school, I used to ride a 72 Triumph Bonneville. Had 6-inch over front forks on it. I rode that thing all the time. But I broke a throttle cable. All I did is break one. It's got dual throttle cables coming off of it. I broke one of them. The end was rusted and just let go. I searched all over. Everybody told me, oh, just go over to this guy. He builds custom cables. I went over there. No, he couldn't do it on that one because of the Lucas carbs. That's the end that broke, is the end that goes into the Lucas carburetors. He didn't have an end to match up to it. So every place, every shop I went to, nobody had it. Back in those days, well, Triumph wasn't in the United States anymore. So I had to order stuff through the mail to Nova Scotia, Canada, and have it sent to me all the way out here in Idaho. So it'd take a week for it to get there, the order to get there, another couple of days for the check to process, and then another week getting it back. We have such a short riding season here for motorcycles. It pretty much wiped out a whole year of riding. So I learned right then and there that, try to get everything that you can possibly get local. Otherwise, your whole season goes right in the toilet. Yeah. Like John Wilburn's Peeps doing a Honda lash up. Anything can be done to fix it. And get it done. That's right. And if it's out on the road and you're still driving it and you're still using it, it's still working. that bike sat so high in the saddle. Oh, it was the 70s style chopper. That's when you put the extended forks on them, but you leave the rake alone, the front yoke alone. So yeah, she rode like this going down the road. Had it, 8-hanger handlebars on it too. Yeah, it was totally 70s. I loved it. Well, it was my dad's bike. I bought it off of him. So I had a whole lot of memories already on that old bike. Had big, oversized, it was like 2-inch exhaust on it, custom exhaust. And Dad actually bought it from the Triumph dealer here, and that was his personal bike. The guy's name was St. John. He used to have the Triumph dealership here in town. And back in the 70s, he took it to a lot of car shows, and he won quite a few of them in that bike. Then my dad ended up with it, and then I bought it off of him later. But the first thing I did is pull the whole bike apart, and I painted it. It had that heavy, metal flake that was like, or metal chunk. Goldish orange, that 70s burnt orange color, that heavy metal flake, and it had all kinds of pinstripe going all over on it. Just total 70s. I stripped that all off and painted it right after I got it, though. Hey, old man in the shop, built not bought. What's going on? Funny thing is, too, I never got that bike over 70 mile an hour. They would do much more than that, but I I had the most fun on that bike just idling, just doing the slow cruise and roll around the river and everything. Going up through Yellowstone Park. Oh, and back then a bike was, well, probably still is, ultimate dirt cheap. I mean, as a kid, my insurance on it was, I think, $11 a month, 11 $12 a month, and you could get RV here in Idaho. I'm not sure about every state, but you can get RV motorcycle insurance on it, so you only carried it for the time that you were driving it. And $20 worth of gas, you go all over the place. But that was my first bike and my last bike. I'll never have another motorcycle after that one. I hate complicated things. Thank God breathing is easy. Yep, if it gets too complicated, yeah, it's time to shut that off too. Bass boat metal flake, yeah. I mean, it's huge. I'm exaggerating there, of course, but good Lord. Almost like a diner seat, like the old 50s diner seats. We call it keratin yellow, like an infant formula. Yeah, if anybody wants to swing on in, yeah, just click the little link up there. Pop on in, saves on the typing, and yeah, we'll talk about whatever you want to talk about. If you want to get out and show everybody your channel, give kind of an introduction yourself, come on in. We'll let her roll here for a little while longer. I was kind of looking to see if Dust Devil was going to be on tonight. I got my other screen going over here. Actually, it's what's left of that old laptop I was using forever. I use it to do all this stuff with. Oh, and everybody go check out Terry Grover. He's got a new video out. I just seen it pop up up over here. And 25. I don't see the. Oh, there we go. 722. Okay. We'll let this roll for about another 30 minutes and we'll all hop on over to Dust Devil. I see that he's got it up over there. There we go. One of these days I'll get all this technology figured out, even though I got it going on in multiple places. That's the best way to learn to swim, right? You just jump in. Ah, update on the 460. I got the tunnel ram, all that nasty black paint stripped off of it, and I tried a little something different with it. I didn't paint it, but I did something a little different with it. Speaking of metal flake. And boy, I'll tell you what, when you spray metal flake, yeah, it's all over my shop. Hey, Steven, what's going on, man?
I'm trying to see if I can keep this thing working and actually do lives from this boat.
Oh, Lord, you're out there in the middle of the ocean, huh?
Actually, no, we're in port, but where we're going to be
Oh.
working out of is only about 5 miles offshore, so we should still have cell signal.
Oh, cool. So how'd this run go? Pretty good?
It's going pretty good. I'm just waiting to see what happens there back and forth on whether or not they're going to send us offshore the day before crew change or not.
They got to give you a little bit of wrench time.
Well, a little bit of drama. I mean, it was interesting. We ended up getting 3 days ago. The boat got hit by lightning, burned out a bunch of jacking system ECMs and a communication card. So that was excitement.
So about another week and a half, you'll be headed this way?
Next Friday.
Next Friday. Yeah.
Yes, sir. I'm supposed to be. I've already got the airline ticket, so we'll see how it goes. But I get home 3:30ish on Wednesday.
Sweet.
So we'll see what happens there. But just all the fun stuff. Got to scramble to get everything set in the car and leave.
Any word on your cam?
No word whatsoever on the cam. I'm gonna have to call this next week and see what the deal is. If it's maybe they didn't get their cores or anything, because it was supposed to have been a month out, and that was 2 months ago. So
yeah, that's what scares me on that kind of stuff, especially a custom grinder. Yeah.
Well, this was actually a regular grind that they have, but they didn't have it in stock. And I don't know. I guess if I'd have gone with a billet blank, then they'd had it immediately, but I don't know. I got to talking to Jason Falk there for a little while. I had to stop and go back and look at some of my pictures and my videos and make sure, okay, if these are the cars I possibly bring in, I got to make sure that they don't have a crack in the windshield. I'd forgotten about that being part of the rules. You can't run with a cracked windshield.
Where at?
I thought that's what they said on the No Name Nationals. They don't want you to have a cracked windshield this year.
It's only if it obstructs your vision.
Okay. Then, yeah.
If it's got a little chip in it, you're okay. But if it's then
oh yeah. Definitely not.
I think it pretty much follows the road rules.
Did you get to see that Kevin, I guess Dart Freak 75, went over and picked up his other e-body that he'd bought a couple of years ago, the Challenger?
Oh, I haven't yet.
Definitely a lot better shape than the Cuda that I got, but yeah, he made a good decision there. He definitely, that's more buildable car that Cuda or that Challenger is.
That's really cool. You got that Cuda though.
Oh yeah.
Because you've known Dart Freak for how long now?
Quite a while. A while. I don't know, something like 5-6 years, something like that.
Yeah.
It was he and Clay from My Next Project, and then Tim from 318 Will Run. We've all been friends on for A Bodies Only for a good long while, and they're the actual reason why I got re-involved in YouTube again.
That's a good thing.
Oh yeah, No Name Nationals did it, so now we're back at it again.
See what John Wilburn and Dallas Brown done did.
Yeah,
And I thank them guys every day for it.
it's fun. I've met a lot of good people, made a lot of good friends, still making a lot of good friends. That's kind of the things I've been liking. I mean, heck, that last trip we got to go see Dr. Art. We could have seen more people, but we were kind of running a little more. But even though I knew him, I'd never actually met Kevin before in person.
Yeah.
So I got to meet, or I had got to go see Dr. Art, got to see John Wilburn and Kevin, and then got to go hang out with Andy Woods and David Vizard. That was neat.
Oh man, to be able to meet David, wow.
Yeah, we got to sit there and talk with him. He sat there and talked with my wife Claudia for about an hour or so, discussing different stuff. But that was fun. Then when we got to Auto Resto Mod for that's Jeff Ford, we got to visit with him. So that was one YouTuber. Then we also got a friend of ours, Bill Rodishin, who lives up here in New Hampshire, was there. We got to hang out with him, and then we also got to meet old car guy and crap, what was it? Straight Six fan. Got to do a video with them. Then went and saw Rusty Rat Rod. Then went and saw ASO. I mean, it was just all the new friends and stuff that you get to meet along the way. That was really neat. All real good people.
I'm not sure. I think it's the Friday before, or was it the Wednesday before the event, that they are going to close the pre-registration. But you can register and buy spectator tickets, any of that stuff at the gate. But to get the discount, you have to do it before. I think it's the Friday before. I think you'd have to get a hold of John Wilburn for that.
Yeah, I was one of the first ones that got registered this year, so we snuck in the door. He was actually updating the website and going through, and it opened a window for a couple of us to jump in. I think I was number 5 or 6.
But even if you can't bring a car there, the spectator is very much worth it. And if you're a YouTube channel, even if you're there without your car, you're still part of the event, kind of. It's a different kind of thing.
You can go hang out in the pits and go hang out with people, talk to people, make content. You're part of the fun. You're part of the show. You're part of the group.
Yep.
And the community.
And the hardest thing to do is to walk 10 feet. Because somebody will say, hey, I know you, hey.
Heck, we're even going to have a little bit of fun and games going on. Something Garage is actually bringing a racetrack with him for Hot Wheels. So we're going to get some Hot Wheels racing in. He said, I guarantee you, he said, I can turn everybody into little boys like that.
Break out the Hot Wheels and the razor track. Whew.
Yep.
The whooping switches. Yeah. Oh, everything horsepower. It'd be great to see out there.
Yeah. For sure. And you don't have to be fast to enjoy it. It's always, like they say, it's always more fun to drive a slow car fast than a fast car slow.
And you got to pick the litter up there. We got everything from a Model T, bone stock Model T, to, Pro Mod. And there's no class. So if you want to run it, run it. We ain't got no class.
That's for sure. Patina
and nobody will
Rust.
put you on the trailer. You can race as many times you want to race.
That was one of the things with Poor Boy Garage. Brad, he was out there racing anything and everything. Mike?
That was a cool giveaway you gave, Big Mike.
Well, I got to get back to work here, so I'm going to jump out. I just
No
wanted
problem,
to see
man.
if this would actually work.
It's good seeing you. And, well, in a little while, we'll be doing a different kind of live, huh?
Oh, yeah.
Hang in there, man.
Oh, no problem. Although I think once things get going, it's going to be easy to keep the metal hot.
Oh, yeah. And here in a few days, they'll let you just drive it.
Yes, sir. We'll catch you later.
Good seeing you, man. Hey, Engine Light, what's going on? Good to see you. Speaking in old class, I'm here. Save a seat for you there, Brother Hoop. That was so cool that you used your, I call it your bucket hat, because that short you did. Oh, my wife still talks about that and shows me that every once in a while, your bucket short. That's so cool. You use that hat to draw all the names out of. Oh, yeah. Whew. And like I said, you do that, you'll blind the people up on the space station. What's going on, Tony? We actually did that. It was at the sand dunes. We used to go out at the St. Anthony sand dunes. Great big sand dune area up north of me. It's actually where I learned how to drive. But we used to go out there and camp all weekend long and just ride the sand rails on the sand. But we did that one time, took one of those old VW blocks and threw it down out there and stacked pallets around it and lit it on fire. And boy, when that sucker took off, whoo, we lit up that whole area. And when it finally went out, where it was burning on the sand, it actually made glass. And that was weird. Somewhere, I think I still have some of that. Our dad might have thrown it away, but we kept it for a while. It was like a weird science project looking thing, like blown glass, the way that the sand just melted and turned into glass. The fun and crazy things you did back in the 80s. I think that was the 80s. Yeah, that would have been the 80s. That you did, Brother Hoop. Like I said, make a nice Christmas tree ornament. That'd look real good hung right between the two yellows. Last night on John Wilburn's Live, Big Mike's Hoopty Barn gave away a surprise and a cup. All you had to do is go over and onto his community page and guess what was in the cup. Well, what was in the cup was pretty doggone cool, but you got to go over and watch John Wilburn's live. It's kind of close to the end, but go ahead and watch the whole thing if you want. And you'll see what was in the cup and the lucky winner of it. They actually won a piece of the Blue Goose. That's pretty cool. That it does. Whew. We wasn't sure if it was going to go out. And I think I x-rayed the back of my head. Whew, boy, that stuff is bright. My dad was a furnace operator for many years, and he used to bring home buckets of wax that would burn all night. Way cool. We used to do that. We used to throw a lump of coal. We used to buy lump coal back when we heated with a wood stove. That was nice because you'd throw a lump of coal in there and it would burn all night. You wouldn't have to wake up in the middle of the night and throw another log on the fire. That was the only thing I don't miss about wood burning stove. Well, two things I don't miss about them. First one was you got one room that is blistering hot, and the back room is usually really cold. The other one was you had to get up in the middle of the night, keep the fire going, or you woke up in the morning freezing, stoking it up and getting it going again. And by the time it slowly started to get warm, then it's time to leave. And you got to go outside in the cold again. But I would like to get another wood burning stove just as a backup. I like turning the thermostat to keep the house warm, and it just keeps it warm all night long. But when that thermostat don't work, yeah, it's good to have some good backup. Dr. Go. See, I wasn't going to leave it. I wasn't going to let no kitties out of the bag there. Yep, Dr. Go won it. That was really cool of you, though, Mike. Yeah, that's right. And the draw on the grid already. I don't know. I'd like to get a wood burning stove. Let's just put it at that. Up here in Idaho, we used to have the cheapest power. They said average over the whole nation. But when the Enron thing happened down in California, they bought us out and now put us on the grid, and our power rates went through the roof. Unless you live in certain areas that didn't sell out, like Idaho Power and Lost River Power. Actually, Lost River is a co-op. Every time you pay your bill, you actually it's all put into a pot. And anything that they got left over, they'll sell it. But everybody who's paid the bills for that gets a cut off of how much they sell. It's never really a whole lot. You get like $5-6 a year check from them usually, but it's something. And their power rates up there are nice. That's up in the Sawtooths. Gets a little chilly up there though. I don't have to worry about telling people where it's at because if you can last 2 winters up there, then that's the place for you. But everybody that tries to go up there, they don't last. And it's about a 4-hour drive to the nearest Home Depot, so it's a little remote. Oh, those old pot bellies. Oh. Oh, I hated them things. Oh, you have to cut your logs real short, real small, and you got to split them small so they burn quick. And those are some of the ones that, yeah, they get blistering hot in one room. Actually, I do a little maintenance work. Used to do a lot of work for them, but it's kind of dropped down a little. For a logging company here for Yellowstone log firewood, and that's what he specializes in. He cuts and splits and those little bundles of firewood you see out at like grocery stores and stuff this time of year for campfires. Some of that, well, if you're getting it from there, it's coming from my hometown right here. Population 470. But all those are cut and split for a potbelly stove because he figured that if it fit in there, it'll fit in anything. That's why they're about yay long is all, and they're split the way that they're split. Yep, a Kiwi subscription is worth 2.5. You're more than welcome here anytime. Yeah, all the Kiwis are welcome up here anytime. Actually, there's quite a few up here that pass through. Kiwis and Australians, you guys like your heights. I'll tell you that right now. When I was mentioning earlier about the Tetons and Mount Bora being on the training climbing mountain list that you have to do before you go to Everest, I have met so many people from New Zealand and Australia that are mountain climbers, and that's where they're doing. They're gearing up and doing those climbs to be able to do all of the others. And a good friend of mine, he's from New Zealand. He still lives in Boise, but he started his own business with cleaning windows on skyscrapers. Hey, Mohawk, welcome back. We have a wood stove in a small alcove with the return air for our central air system above it. Yep, to circulate the heat throughout the house. Did you run that off a thermostat too, or are you just using natural draft? Because I have set up a bunch of them like that, and especially with inserts, gas inserts. But we've done it on wood stoves as well. Also putting a radiator in them and using it to heat water. And I love that alcove you built for your wife. That is just Big Mike. He is a mason. He's not just a blockbuster. He's a mason. Good work, man. Hey, Wendy. Good to see you. First responder. What's going on, man? That was really cool what you and Brother Hoop did for JB. That was just awesome. Blew me away when I seen that too, because I just dug that transmission out for Ari. That I was going to do the same thing. Natural draft, way to go. That way, if anything happens, that sucker still works. Still in Alabama at the Hornet's Nest, huh? Been getting the modified ready between races. Way cool, man. Oh, look at there. Hey, Tim, what's going on? Good to see you again. I didn't know what to do last week. I didn't get to see Tim Windsor in my life. It just shook me up all week long. It was great seeing you, man. She's been talking to Auntie Cher. Yeah, trust me. Yeah, I got to do the same thing. That and a pizza oven, too. See, that's what I need to do. I just need to send you a plane ticket and hand you a fistful of rusty junk. Come out here and help me build a pizza oven. Hey, Blake, what's going on? Great to see you, man. Was that you saying that you had a little trouble here just a little bit ago? Somebody tried to get into your account or something? I've heard that happen with a lot of people. I hope they didn't get anything. If it was you. Those dirty, rotten buggers out there that do that kind of stuff, just ish. A good brick doesn't need sides. It's a mill all in itself. Good Lord Almighty. It's gotten to the point that anymore I get those, once you get on this for a while, you'll start getting emails and stuff from all these wacko weirdo companies wanting you to peddle their stuff on your channel. It's gotten to where I don't even open them anymore. And this right here is my biggest fear of that. That's how they get you. I hope they didn't get nothing. They should sell us reverse viruses for them. So if it does come through, it doesn't block them. It sends a virus to them and shuts them down. Well, it looks like Dust Devil's about ready to fire his up, and I think I'll go ahead and shut her down here, and we'll redirect everybody over to him just as soon as he starts up. I'm watching him over here, making sure. In fact, here I should. Just in case I mess up and it doesn't go through. We'll go ahead and pin that one up there now. Okay, the link I got pinned up there to the top now, that's Dust Devils Live that's coming up. We'll all jump on over there just as soon as he gets fired up and going. Sometimes if I don't schedule my life, because I was busy doing other stuff and it's kind of a last minute thing, sometimes it'll miss on my redirect. So reach up there and click that little link up there. It'll pop you right over to him. Meantime, tomorrow I'm going to try to do an earlier live. Yeah, you guys get to see me painting that 460. I figured that'd be a good watch me work kind of, watch this old hillbilly roll around in that rusty junk and trying to make it look good. But I'll be doing a live broadcast from the shop. Since I didn't do a live last week, I got a few extra hours, and I figured, that'd be a good way to use them up. So let's see. He still hasn't fired it up, but we'll keep on chit-chatting here and keep the ball rolling for him until he gets on bongo in there. So that's what'll be going on tomorrow. You keep getting propositioned by lenders wanting to give you money. Yeah, and it's only 500% compounded interest, compounded hourly. Oh, yeah. And that was what first cued me in on it. Because I'd been a subscriber to Country Boy for a long time. And when he lost his channel, and he's got a big channel, big channel. He was to the point he was actually making a kind of a little bit of a living out of it. And they went in, they took everything. That was scary. And it took YouTube a long time to get it all figured out and sorted out so he could get his channel back. But that whole time, he lost all of that income until they were able to get it back to him. Oh, Lord. That's where I learned immediately that you never, ever give out your email address that your channel is associated with. That's why when you look on my About page, I got my Yahoo one out there. So if they do hack it, they're going to hack a email that's not connected to my channel. Hey, Ed the Tech Guy. Good to see you, brother. Okay, Brian is live now. So everybody click that little button up there, and it looks like he's got John Cope going on. So I'm definitely going to hop into that one, and we'll shut this one down. In the meantime, everybody get out there and get some metal hot. And let's go over and give Brian at Dust Devil some attention. And shake old John Cope a little bit. We'll see y'all over there. In the meantime, get out there and get some metal hot. And stay cool. We'll see y'all next week, or tomorrow. We'll see you tomorrow out in the shop. We'll catch you then. Great seeing y'all.